Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. This was said by Harold R. McAlden. McAlden was the president of HCA, or the Hospital Corporation of America. McAlden led his company from millions of dollars in debt and ended up building over 400 of today's most popular hospitals. McAlden was considered to be the strategic brains to the operation, or the father of the company. McAlden is a lot like Joshua from the Bible. McAlden was a leader, and Joshua was on the front line of the battlefields. I believe that Joshua wasn't afraid to fight the good fight, and Joshua, he had real swag. Today I'll be talking to you about the brave and brolic moments of Joshua's life. The title of my sermon is Don't Be Scared. In Joshua chapter 1, verse 6, it says to be strong and courageous, to not be scared. You may ask, but don't be scared has anything to do with your life, but it's my job to show you. Joshua answered the call that God had placed on his life. If God ever told you to go on the front line and lead the people of Israel into battle, would you go? This is where Joshua's real swag comes in. Joshua did exactly what God wanted him to do. Joshua was a warrior, and he was a leader that God had placed on his life. When I was 12 years old, I had a dream that me and my family went on vacation to Guatemala. I ended up wandering off, and I ended up in a village filled with orphan children. A little boy, about 6 or 7, came up to me and asked me if I had any money. I emptied out my pockets, and I told him that I was sorry that I didn't have anything for him. The little boy sat down, and he began to weep. He began to bang his head against the mud-paved wall that was right next to us. Blood began to pour down this little boy's face, and I began to weep. I began to cry, and I said, "Why? Why are you doing this?" His response to me was, "I have no money for food, so might as well kill myself now." I believe that if Joshua didn't answer the call that God had placed on his life, we would not be here today. I 110% plan on answering the call that God had placed on my life. God also gives so many promises in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verses 1 through 11. God gives 14 promises in 11 verses. I'm here to tell you today that God has a plan and a purpose set upon your life. When you think that you're all alone, in Joshua 1:5 it says, "I will be with you always."
Come on.
It also says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." In Joshua 1:9 it says, "I will be with you wherever you go." I'm here to tell you today that, again in Joshua 1:5, it says no one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. When you think the enemy has you in bondage, say, "Get behind me, Satan, because I have a plan and a purpose set on my life by the God Almighty, by the God who created me and created heaven and earth." When Joshua and all the Israelites marched around Jericho, they could not be scared. They had no idea what was going to happen to them. In Joshua 1:6, it says, "You will lead the people into the land that I have promised them." I meaning God. How many of you know that God had promised Jericho to the Israelites? Joshua was not scared, and in return, God fulfilled his promises. Jericho is an amazing example to show that God does fulfill his promises. When the walls of Jericho came crashing down, I believe that it signified that it is finished.
When you exit, please exit to the left. Thank you.